I've just tried to use a. I've just tried to use a mouse there that is not connected to my laptop. That's connected to the laptop that's next to me. And yeah, so that's how my days go, mate. And with that, we are live, lads and lasses. Threshold FM. People who aren't listening on Threshold FM. How have you managed to do that? This isn't on any other platforms as
Astral
of yet,
projection.
mate.
Like the fucking Roman Cicero, mate.
Well, Cicero also on
Skyrim could speak to the mother, and I think that's why he could speak to the mother, mate, because it was part of a Roman story. And this guy called Cicero that was supposedly getting voices talk to him from the astral plane.
I think that was the that wasn't that pretty much the point in naming him Cicero on Skyrim.
Oh, I thought I'd just figured this out about 15 minutes ago, innit? So I'm still in that point where I'm pretty proud of my discovery. But yeah, I imagine that's what they were going for. Yeah, I don't think it would have been a mistake.
I don't know that for sure, but I'm going to hazard a guess and say that Cicero in Skyrim is given that name because of Cicero of the Rome. For those who haven't guessed yet, our topic today is the Romans. Why? Explain to the people why, because I did the typical thing of wait until 24 hours before the show and messaging you saying what we're going to do this week. So delight the viewer, delight the people.
It's not just down to you, to be fair, just to ease your conscience. I could say to you, earlier in the week, what are we doing tomorrow? But then, I wouldn't be able to copy and paste the message, what are we doing tomorrow?
That's very true.
It's fucking swings and roundabouts, isn't it? But I reckon Romans, I was thinking, because I've always thought that, how you've got, like, in ancient history, I mean, Romans to a degree are ancient history, ancient Roman, obviously, but...
Not to a degree, they very much are ancient history.
They're not as far back as Mesopotamia and all that, though, innit? Like, nowhere near as far back. So, like, proper ancient history, that's been sort of changed and all that, and now people think that was the Anunnaki and aliens and all this. So what if Romans are a way of telling that same story of, aliens came and gave us all of these things, but instead of saying it was the aliens or it was these winged chariots or whatever that came to Earth, because they didn't call them chariots, the UFOs, the Romans referred to UFOs as shields in the sky.
Did they?
So they still had UFOs. Yeah, shields.
How'd you know this?
Fucking looked it up, mate. Fucking... read it in a weird blog, so it's got to be.
It's 100% fact.
It makes
delivering
sense.
Knowledge.
Yeah, I believe they could have thought that, so that's enough for me. And if you believe in it, does that make the Romans actually aliens? Because if they didn't want to scare people now and they wanted to scare people away from the idea of extra-dimensional entities or aliens from other planets interfering with the human race, making things and changing how they do everything. And they said, it was Romans, because for nowadays, to say, it was the Romans, which was this big fucking massively influential empire that ruled like a quarter of the world at the time.
Yeah, it's stretched. It's stretched across most of Europe and Africa.
Yeah, so that's fucking loads, mate. Loads of space there.
It's big, like, isn't it?
Now, yeah, so that's something for like the governments of today and religions of today. To be like, well, if we base it on these things that people will think definitely existed, now that we've pushed science because of the so-called Romans, which I'll probably stop doing air quotes around Romans,
so-called Romans,
because it's going to make the show difficult. But yeah, if we make it so that it's about the so-called Romans made this and came up with this, rather than saying it was the aliens, because the governments and that now, and like even your local council doesn't like you knowing that they're not as influential as what you think they are. They're dictated to, one, by you, but also by the government itself.
Yeah.
So would the government itself, or world leaders even above that, or religious leaders, would they want everybody to know that above us, though, there are these aliens, like this weird interdimensional spider that we have to feed our negative emotions to? And that's why they fucking do the confirmations and whatever, and the confessionals and stuff, sucking the sins out of people to feed them up to the bishops, up to the Pope, up to the aliens. But they don't want people knowing about that, though, Jimmy. So they say it was the Romans.
I don't know if this ties into it at all, but
we can make it.
I know it may more than you think. I've been watching a few videos today on the Flavian. I'm never going to remember the last word. I'll have a look because it's in my recent YouTube history. But basically, the idea that Jesus was a Roman construct. So the New Testament and stories in the New Testament that come from or are meant to be committed by or had done to Jesus are the same as stories that occurred in the Old Testament that people like Moses and that were responsible for. And the idea is that the Romans created this Jesus character and influenced it in Matthew or the book of Matthew and everything, and those books that relate to the New Testament reflect the existence of Jesus because the Romans found that it would make it easier to control.
So they made it more like attuned to the time, like a revamp, and that's why it was the New
pretty much.
Testament.
It's the
same stories.
This bloke that I was watching his video, to be honest, is fucking boring. Like it didn't have a voice for a YouTube video. And you could see him as well, which usually helps. If you can see the person, you're more inclined to stay in tune. Like, I had to force myself to watch this. What the fuck is it called? The Flavian motherfucker. The Flavian gypsy bastard. The signature. Boom. That's the one.
Flavian signature.
Yeah, proof that the Romans invented Christ. Statement by Joseph Atwill. Caesar's Messiah is the channel, and it was the Roman conspiracy to invent Jesus. So
it also sounds like a perfume, though, doesn't it? Like Flavian signature. In the advert, they could have crucifix, spear of Longinus.
They've just got a load of centurions doing the tortoise to advertise. You know, like usually in a perfume advert, it's got like
the pseudo.
Yeah, proper cinematic like landscapes and shit going on that's nothing related to what the fuck it smells like. That much the opposite in the way that a Milky Way crispy roll is exactly what it says it is, and that is the most accurate marketing ever. The way that perfumes and aftershaves are advertised is the complete. Basically, on one end of the spectrum of advertising, you've got the Milky Way crispy roll, which is a crispy roll from Milky Way. And it's perfect. And then you've got the adverts for a perfume or an aftershave or a loan, like a bank. They've got to sell like an idea, like a spirit of this
concept,
thing.
Innit? Yeah, they're not actually selling a product.
Yeah, so the Flavian signature would have like start off with like two bairns sucking the tits of a wolf. And then, interesting fact, Rome started and ended at the hands of Romulus.
Romulus? What's that got to do? Has that got something to do with wolves? You're looking at me like that's a really clever joke. And
it's not a clever joke, it's the truth.
Okay.
So, you know the story of the birth of Rome, Romulus and Remus?
Nope.
Really?
Go on.
So talking about two kids sucking the tits of a wolf wasn't just like my want to commit bestiality. The birth of Rome was said to be created by two kids, Romulus and Remus, two brothers, who their mother was a she-wolf. And if I'm right, did one kill the other? I'm having a.
So they were like werewolves?
No, they were humans. They were humans.
But they were born from a wolf.
Their mother, I don't know if it was born to or it was nurtured by. Here we go. I fucking got your ear. In Roman mythology, Romulus and Remus are twin brothers whose story tells events that led to the founding of the city of Rome and the Roman kingdom by Romulus. The killing of Remus by his brother, along with other tales from their story, have inspired artists throughout the ages. Since ancient times, the image of the twin suckle and a she-wolf has been a symbol of the city of Rome and the ancient Romans. So, it started with Romulus, and it ended like the emperor who was in charge when Rome fell was Romulus.
How? Just the same name, different guy.
It's just same name, different person. Same with
not like same guy, different time. Just like fucking time travel. That's tying with my ideas.
Quite a bit of time in between. Same with
so years.
What the fuck's the other one? Constantinople. Started by Constantinople, ended with Constantinople. Becoming Istanbul. But that's the that's a link. Now I was going to bring this back to you fucking. If Romans created this Jesus character, right, or had to, or let's say didn't create, let's say installed a Jesus character. It's only an alien who could do all that shit.
I would imagine.
Yeah, it's only an
which
alien.
Which is a religion that's based in Italy.
Yeah, well, it's based in its own part.
Yeah, its own country, but it's like surrounded by and encompassed like Italian culture, isn't it? Like
very, very true. Yes, yeah. But it's got an extra level of noncery attached, and money and hidden secrets and bodies. Definitely bodies. Lots of bodies. Like I imagine, I'd love to just have a look about, just half an hour without any guards.
Because they're not going to let you leave. You can have a look around. Yeah, they'll probably let everyone have a look around, but they're probably not going to let you leave. Like, oh yeah, you've been down the catacombs and you saw the ancient books. Doomsday Book, you say. You read it all. Oh yeah. Oh, you fucked me.
Yeah, you shouldn't have said that.
Did you read page 54 where it mentioned you?
What? I've just lifted up my glass, and where it's been icy, it's left a Star of David on the...
I thought I was going to say Jesus' face, but that's just as good.
On the... Yeah, well, it's just as... it is a sign. I don't know if that's... this is beautiful... Prohibition cocktail, mate. A bee's knees, which is just gin, lemon juice, and honey. But I totally forgot the other way. Like me, I took mushrooms at the weekend and totally forgot that mushrooms, if you take them with citric acid, like the citric acid helps break them down quicker, so they're more intense but don't last as long. Well, I didn't fucking think about that and chased down a load of mushrooms with one of these, and Jesus Christ, my walls were breathing after a fucking hour. So I just sat watching fucking that Cecil Hotel documentary that's on Netflix at the moment, which is...
just watch that.
It's shit.
It's good, isn't it? You don't think it's no good, no?
No.
I thought it was alright, man.
So I knew the case beforehand. I've known that case for quite a while.
I've never known of it.
Well, I like true crime. So I'd known that case for fucking ages. And I'd known what had happened. So I watched it with... I managed to watch it with my usual level of cynicism. And like basically just judged the documentary knowing what was going to happen. And... I really, we watched the whole thing and I took the piss out a lot, but like I really started not losing me rag, but like feeling that it lost any sort of credibility when all their sources were fucking other YouTube true crime people.
Yeah, it was a lot of YouTube references, wasn't it? Like, oh, and here we've got a YouTuber, and here we've got it. But though, that ties into the story of the Cecil Hotel, doesn't it? Where so like the bigger people, the higher ups, didn't really want to come and talk about it. That's the way the narrative of it goes. And to have YouTubers talking about it plays into the narrative of the mainstream don't want you to know what's going on there.
Yeah, but
it adds to the mystery.
No, but these people were all talking about it after it had been fucking solved. The majority of those YouTubers, their channels didn't even start until after that crime had been solved. Like, she was only gone fucking 3 weeks. Over those 19 days, like, the entire YouTube true crime community didn't get band together and fucking fight for this lass to get found. Like, she was found quickly, and
but they made it seem like it went on for... yeah. And they were saying the YouTube people were the help for it all, weren't they? The online sleuths and all this.
Yeah, which is, like, bollocks. Like, that literally, what I took from that was... You couldn't use any real sources apart from one copper, and they also got the pathologist, the bloke who did the autopsy. He spoke, but like besides those, it was all YouTubers. So all those YouTubers get the same information that me and you have access to, but much like you and I, they've got no sort of education,
intelligence.
No, not intelligence, mate. No, I mean, we definitely don't have that. They might have that.
That's what I thought you was getting at.
No. Although I am going to talk about one of them.
Bring them down. Don't be putting them on a pedestal, man. Bring them down to our level.
I am about to bring them down if you let me carry on.
I apologise. Fucking hell, hey, guys. Jesus. In the mood this week.
No. I'm just ready. They have the same access to information as us, but without any sort of professional background in fucking policing or detective work or pathology or forensics. They're just fucking YouTubers. It's like listening to PewDiePie tell you how to fucking solve a crime. Why should I take any credibility from this one person? I found it pretty telling because there's one true crime channel that I watch on YouTube in particular, and the reason I watch him is he doesn't do the whole building, like he doesn't try and put like a big fucking cloak of mystery around it, or do like you said and put them all up on pedestals and like create this mystical aura around them. Like, he's very to the point. He's very funny. He's very cutting. He's very sarcastic. And he cuts through all the bullshit. Now, I knew he featured in that documentary, but he didn't feature until the very last. Have you seen it all?
Yeah.
Fantastic. You know the Irish lad who speaks right at the end? Mike O.
Off the top of my head.
Right,
No.
well, it's in the very last episode he speaks, and he's the one who goes, well, actually, yeah, it's all very explainable and it all makes a lot of sense. He says the opposite of what fucking all the other ones have been saying throughout, and that said a lot for us, because that's the sort of that's what I get from him when I watch the rest of his shit, and the others just try and build it for views and hype. There was one, how weird. And we will get back to the Romans, don't we? We'll tie this in somehow. But how weird...
We'll find a way.
How weird was the bloke who said he needed... Although never meeting the lass, never known her, never known anything about her until she died, how weird was the YouTube web sleuth, which, by the way, was the term that I took away from that and laughed at so much on Mushies.
I'd never heard that before.
Web sleuth. They've given themselves a... You're a YouTuber? Don't call yourself a web sleuth. Is basically anyone who goes on Reddit, sees a question and goes, right, I'm going to find that out. We're all fucking web sleuths. Every time I don't know a question, I Google it. Am I a web sleuth? Like, it's such a fucking shit term. Fucking stop being important. You're not important. You make videos. Right. But the one who was the worst was the bloke who needed to get closure, and he sent someone to go and touch her fucking grave for him.
Yeah. That's I think at that point of the series, I looked at my missus as like, right, that's
mate.
Jamie
got really angry, like fuming. She was like, "What the fuck?" She was like, "That's fucking." And I was, I thought, I thought at first
the family,
it was very.
Mate, you got to feel sorry for the family.
That's what she was saying.
The whole part of it, like, that's got to have been is the word tumultuous fucking 3 weeks. Like, the worst 3 weeks that they're ever going to have, you would hope, unless they lose their other kid, which I hope they don't like, but then you got to start questioning the parents and that.
I don't want to...
They have these access to, like, cherry pickers so they can get their kids onto roofs, but I'm not a web sleuth, so I don't know the answers to it.
Yeah, you're not a web sleuth, mate. Stand back.
But, that was where I went, right, that's a bit fucking much, that, because, like, that's... Why did he need... If what you're saying is true as well, and I don't doubt you, I just didn't know it, that all of these YouTubers were doing this long after the case was finished, long after, then why did he need closure? Because obviously he'd already read what had happened before he did all this.
I think there was a few of them that were on there that had, he was one of the ones who was involved in, I believe, the finding, or like in the internet community's chase of it all. The way they sold the documentary with regards to the YouTubers was very much like the way they sold that Don't Fuck With Cats, and that the internet was out. So it's the same premise. It's like they make out as if the internet tried to save these people, like the internet saved these people. Now in Don't Fuck With Cats, the internet did a little bit, but they also did quite a bit of damage. In this one, like, the lass was found in a fucking water tank on the top of the hotel. With nothing, she had, and it was by no sort of. Sorry, in no way were the internet community responsible for that. In fact, when you hear everything in the last episode, and the pathologist talks and goes like, "This lass definitely fucking killed herself. There was no way she fucking there was no mark. She wasn't assaulted, anything like this. And everything you're saying to try and build it up to be this mass crime is actually insulting to her. Like, there's a lass that's died here, and you want her death to be this fantastical thing, so you could be right. Instead of actually just wanting this lass is dead. This is what's happened. It's a massive shame. You want to be right." You
But
want
could
to
you
have
not
your
also argue though that it's not just the YouTubers that are causing that? People were allowing for all that to happen, and it was getting pushed in the regular media a bit as well. And even that being on Netflix, that's getting it pushed into the regular media, the mainstream media, if you like, because that's beneficial to what people believe is like the big they or the big them. And they would want to destroy Skid Row or to make people look down on Skid Row and the people in it rather than to feel sorry for the people that have been basically just fucking imprisoned in this street?
yeah,
Or
that's
is it to
true.
make people more aware of that? What if the whole idea of the documentary was a way of getting Skid Row into the mainstream all around the world? Look at the state of this. You all think LA is great and lovely, but look at what we do
People
to
don't.
the lowest of the,
In all
societal
serious,
ladder.
yeah, but in all serious, I don't think it was that, and that's not the point I'm making. The point, the Skid Row is a shit place, and it is, and the homeless issue in LA is ridiculous, like tens of thousands of people. But it's no different to London. Like it's no different. There are rough parts like that, and like that's just looking in like the first world. What about the third world? Like that, there's entire fucking cities, there's entire
It was
countries like that.
the
But
creating a border around it though, which I thought was mad,
yeah,
like almost like an armed border.
yeah, that is a bit fucked. But the Skid Row's a mess. But I don't think the fact that it was just on that location, like I don't think that lass got got treated as if she was a member of the Skid Row community, because she wasn't. Like she was a traveller, she was a tourist. I think they try to put they try to set a picture in the documentary, but ultimately I'm not entirely sure that affected her case. The point that I'm making though is that all of them saying, like, the part where the YouTubers focused on the hatch being, there's no way she could have closed it had to have been a murder, and then none of them actually listened to the bloke himself, who was like, yeah, the hatch was open, and the water tank, I found it with it being open. Like,
Yeah.
the internet community did more of a disservice in finding out what happened to that lass by pushing, like, these fantastical theories, when actually the real solution was right in front of their face, and had already been documented. And there was reports from that fucking groundsman, caretaker, janitor, whatever you want to call him, saying like, I found it and it was open. Well, he didn't say it like that. He said it with a much more Mexican accent, a little Santiago.
And a bit more solemn as well, not so like blasé with it.
Yeah,
Like, I found it open.
He didn't.
Yeah,
look
she
too
was
happy.
fucked. She's
He was
dead.
like, oh, see, she was fucked there, see.
The Scouse Mexican.
Yeah, the Scouse Mexican Santiago with his little curly mop. Now, how do we tie this back into Roman Jesus?
Well, you're saying that these internet people wanted to, make something fantastical out of something that wasn't there and was already documented, and maybe we should sort of change the tack of the show, because there's some stuff that's documented in that, but nobody really knows where Romans got cement from. And that's a way that we could really like concrete ourselves into the web sleuthing community by if we try and figure that out. And I reckon it came from aliens, innit? I reckon it was some form of like an alien concoction, and that's why the cement, the concrete of Roman times has still lasted to today, and why they were able to know how to use like larval stone and granite for roads and to make like a camber on a road and that.
Yeah.
Aliens, mate.
Did they give them the? I found out that's another thing I looked at today, was how they managed to make roads straight. Because obviously that's the thing that, like, one of the things that
baffles
Romans are
people.
famous for is that roads are straight. All roads lead to Rome. Not all roads, I'll be honest. Quite a few
No,
don't
no.
lead to Rome. But
I can think of loads that don't. I could
yeah, I
probably
can think
list
of
10
absolute. Yeah, well, we could
easily.
We could
I don't want to show off
easily-
liking it, but
Yeah, we could do the rest of the show. It wouldn't be entertaining for anyone, but I tell you what, me and you
I
would
don't
get.
know. I
we'd
reckon
get
after
a right
15
kick.
minutes of it, it'd become funny again.
Yeah, it would be like a Stuart Lee joke. It'd start off
Yeah.
funny, become really funny, then start being less funny, then be annoying, then people would switch off, and then those that tuned in again 15 minutes later would be howling.
Because we still go.
Yeah, and you know what? The first one to stop, or the first one to name an incorrect road that actually did lead to Rome.
Imagine how unlucky you'd have to be to come
amazing.
out with an Italian road.
Well, just a road that because in somehow, like, you've got to find a road that does lead to it.
Oh,
But-
yeah, it's only got a lead to it, hasn't it?
Yeah. It doesn't say
You've
all
actually got
roads
to get
point
there.
directly to Rome,
No, they
because
don't. They
that is
don't
a
get you. They
definite
don't
no.
get you there. No,
No.
no.
But one of the things I did find out was how they got their road straight, and it was through the use of a groma, which is like a stick, like a structure, like
Just, just a stick. Just got one idiot just holding a stick up in front of him like
pretty
that
much,
fucking
mate.
monkey in
There's
the
like a
Lion King. He's like,
stick.
nah, left. No, my left. Stage left, dickheads.
It's
And they're all,
it's like a stick that's got like 4 points coming off it. I'll explain it to you now. And they used it for surveying, and you can still use them now. Basically, you got a point coming out the ground, stick like that, and then you've got like a cross on the top, but flat, obviously. And then on each of those, you've got a hanging weight or something to point down. So that ensures that everything's level there, and those are obviously straight. So when you're looking between lines, you can ensure that if they're between those lines, things are straight. Now that's pure alien tech, mate.
it is though, isn't it? It's almost like an alien crashed here and was like, we've got this. Well, back on Xglarg 5, we've got this thing that we can use that it's like it's what we call it a surveying module. We call it a dump. You will call it a dumpy level in 2,000 years time. But don't worry about that though. So far, because obviously the like in the Latin language and in like the rest of Roman times, they saw time as like a circular thing rather than how we see it as linear. They thought the past and the present and the future could all happen at once. So it kind of works there. And obviously the aliens would see it the same way. But if they were like, we've got this tech that does this job, and I know that this job is possible, but all you have is fucking string, rocks, and wood. But we can make that happen. I can make a makeshift version of that. It won't work properly for another 3,000 years or so because you're going to need silica. But we can get something that you can keep making and produce cheaply enough.
Yeah.
It's like reversed engineering, but reversed.
That's just engineering, innit?
Nah, I would say it's engineering the long way.
Yeah. I mean, there's. I think that I do think there's a point with this Jesus character being an alien, though, and I think
even in the Bible, he ascends, doesn't he? He gets sucked up by a tractor beam at one point.
And that says
pretty much artificial insemination to begin with.
And they've gone like, look, we're gonna help you source shit from the earth, right? And in return, you're gonna send down one of your boys just to do some general, but send him down looking like he's one of us, just to do some general trickery, turn some water into wine, the regular shit that you do up there. Just do a few tricks, and then he's got to go away. And then he's got to come back 3 days later. And then he's got to fuck off again. And you can say that you're going to come back a second time, but don't worry, you never have to. People will cling onto it. Doomsday cults may be formed around it, but don't worry. You just stay up there. It's absolutely fine.
Well, did they start Nike back then? And that's why Nike was a Roman god?
It's a possibility.
And that's why the shoes were then used in, the cult for the fucking...
The Doomsday cult.
Yeah, Heaven's Gate. And that's the link there.
It's a possibility. Do you reckon that? So are we saying that early Centurions were walking around with Air Max? Because that's a site.
Not Air Max. No. They're more of a modern thing. But like the Nike sandal kind of thing.
The Air Max Jerusalem.
Yeah.
The total 90 Carthaginian. It's a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. I did make other points. I'm sure I made other points about things. Other points about Roman things.
Well, I can make one about the Jesus thing you're saying there, though.
Go on then.
Would it not make sense
a fucking
that...
point.
I will.
Go on.
Well, I'll try anyway. I don't know if it'll go anywhere, but I'll give it a go. It makes sense at the minute, but when I get it out my head, it might not. So with them saying, we'll allow you to come down here and, you can turn water into wine and that, but you can only be one of yous. Now, was the agreement there, though? But you've got to come down here looking like someone that we don't like and that we can victimize to make ourselves make ourselves more important and make ourselves look better. That was the agreement. They could come down here and do the little soil samples or whatever else it was they were doing, checking the worms like the start of Godzilla or something. Maybe Godzilla is a telling of Jesus' story, and how Jesus will come back. You just got to go and rub his eggs somewhere and loads of little Jesuses will hatch.
Take chase through New York City as John Cusack with Jamiroquai playing in the background. Was John Cusack in
firing blood
Godzilla?
out the palm of his hand like the fucking
Yeah.
laser beam from Godzilla's mouth.
But carry on.
Yeah, but that was basically it. That was at the agreement, do you reckon? They agreed that
Yes.
you can come down here and do that. We'll give you a bit of, you give us some technology out of it. We want some of that. You can be whatever you want to be down here, but at the end of it, we win by killing you off. And then
Well,
we build this
don't
whole
even
thing
think
around you and we'll control your narrative.
I don't even think it was necessarily that. I think that there was transaction going on, and in order to sweeten the deal, so the Romans were like, look, you need all this shit from down here, right? You need gold, you need like silver and copper and all this stuff, and possibly human sacrifices. I don't know. Maybe there was a sort of delicious sort of fish that they wanted en masse, and they were like, look, you can have it. You can have that, but
But they only needed two.
yeah, no, but in order to do that, we need your help on the ground, and in order for us to gain power, so we can get control over the people, and then we can do your bidding for you. We need you to send someone down to act as this this leader of the peasants that these people want. And you're gonna send someone down, and they're gonna act the hero, and they're gonna get a massive following, and that's gonna bring the people's spirit, and the people go like, yes, there is someone to lead us out of this, and then we're gonna kill that person, just to show the peasants that we are the winners in this situation, and there is no God, and if there is a God, we're above that God. Now your bloke doesn't really have to die because he's a fucking alien, so he's just taken some sort of human form. It's a bit like,
Where don't you feel pain? Where do you not feel? Well, I don't feel it in my forehead, my temples, the back of my head, my palms, my wrists, and like that. You know that middle bit of your foot. Yeah, my corporeal form feels nothing there. So anywhere around there, guys, you know, you want to show me off to the world as well. Oh, fucking yeah! Look at this, and he just looks down at his stomach, and rather than like in South Park where he changes to an ice cream taco that shits out ice cream, just gives himself a 6-pack, and he's like, "Will that do? Is that enough?"
yep. And then they're like, right, that's exactly what we need, mate. Just go down there, do what you want for a bit. Even smash up a bank or something. Flip some tables at a market. Swear at some people. Cure a blind man. Do whatever you want, man. Shag Mary Magdalene and have a child. Do what you want. You want to come down here, get some of that earth pussy. Get some of that earth pussy. You're only going to be here for a little while. You may as well shag that prostitute that people like to sort of discuss whether or didn't happen in the Bible, and yeah, Jesus shagged a prostitute. Let's get over it and had a burn. That's fact. I don't know. I just like to piss off as many faiths as possible. So that way you can't be judged as just like leaning against any one. I don't have an issue with any singular faith. All of them can get it. You can all get it.
Yeah.
I don't care what nation it's from or what sort of creed or colour the people who believe it in. I'm gonna take fucking piss. I'm not gonna draw Muhammad though, simply because I'm not a great artist, and I couldn't possibly get down the hideous image I would want to draw to the accuracy that I wish to deliver it.
Fair enough. I mean, that's a strong statement there made by Jimmy Budd of North East England, if anyone's looking.
Yeah, but I don't know what else I've got on this. I think I've got other things on this.
I have a little idea there from, what if then the idea of them having Jesus and using Jesus was the way of like Romans to introduce science to eradicate what was like a natural magic. I know it's hard to accept, but take us like for given, pretend that magic exists or existed, like the way that people were able to use the air and shit around them to fucking, not like make the air into gold, but to like fucking how people are supposedly like how Dynamo can like put his hand through glass, so he claims. Imagine like people could just do that and shit like that, but it was widespread. But they'd walled off these areas like what they call Caledonia, innit, like Scotland, and they walled that off, and the Picts were in there, and the Picts were seen as this very sort of into magic people. Now they walled them off, but what if they were like, right, we'll have one of you aliens come down here now, and I want you to cure a leper, cure blindness, turn water into wine, and then we can start making cordial, and no one will know that it's science. We'll use science to do that, because now we can make people not believe in magic because they know that this guy did it, and now we can do that through the way that yous have shown us how to do that, because maybe they didn't have magic on their planet or whatever force magicians use, And then they're like, right, we can eradicate that now. And then the Romans started to get a bit funny about it because maybe, they're getting a bit ill because they're used to like an Italian climate, but they're being forced to live on the border of Scotland and England and the fucking freezing at Hadrian's Wall. So they're like, you know what? We're going to fucking revolt and let people in and out wherever they want to come in and out. And then all of no, not nomads, Saxons and that, then they invaded England, didn't it? And with a bunch of other people and fucked up the Roman Empire that was placed in England and Wales. So what if that was why? So they could eradicate magic. See what I mean about I thought I had a point, but they didn't really go anywhere.
No, well, I mean that's absolutely. You've definitely filled 45 seconds. If nothing else, right? You've got us slightly closer to the end of this torture. Yeah, it's possible. Like that. I thought you were going to go down the religion route and try to use, but I mean they're fucking the same thing, aren't they?
Well, science. I think science is a religion to a point.
Well, I mean, what I meant was that they try to eradicate religion, like they try to eradicate religion through science.
Yeah.
I'd say religion and magic are more close than. Well, depending on which side you want to see, religion and magic are very similar in if you believe the fantastical claims. But science could be classed as a religion, I suppose.
Is the word dogmatic?
It can
science,
be,
because it's got to be built upon itself by the very definition of science.
Yeah, but
you have to believe in it for it to work, otherwise you'll never understand anything.
That's pretty much true, but that's sort of the same with most things, isn't it? It's like,
what to do?
If you don't put belief in something, you're very less likely to follow it or do it, are you? Unless you're an absolute fucking clip, in which case
you might just be mental, innit?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, what? No, that's never going to work. Yeah, definitely. I'll fucking go first. Where do I jump?
50 quid, go on.
Fucking sound. Yeah, what's that? A bus? Yeah, I can stop that with my hands. It's only doing 30. But speaking of magic, science, and religion, all sort of combined, there was a Roman emperor who started a practice of taking like tiny doses of all sort of known poisons at the time daily and building them up incrementally. So he built
that mad snake cunt.
So he built a resistance so he could never be poisoned. Imagine being that man and then
imagine being that paranoid.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't imagine. I've probably been there, but imagine being that man and then one day feeling suicidal. And there's fuck all you can do about it.
We haven't got skyscrapers yet. Yeah. The most we've got are these things everyone's calling fucking islands. Yeah, but really they're just apartment blocks. Like, fucking.
If we absolutely fucked.
Not high enough to jump up. Digging a hole next to a building so he's got further to fall.
He'd have to drown himself in olive oil, which I can only believe is probably the currency of the Romans at the time. I think that's also possibly alien technology. Olive oil, I think that is, I mean, it's fucking delicious, but it's gained far too much traction in the world, right? Olive oil is, I use it, I eat it. It is beautiful, but I don't trust it. Like, it's everywhere, and I think that's possibly alien technology that's been was shared with the Romans, and they were like, you need to get this out of the people. Maybe it makes us susceptible to some sort of mind control, or
maybe it stops that from happening.
Or maybe it's easier for them to preserve us or reanimate us, like, once we're dead. Like, once you've oiled us. So, like,
what if it's seasoning?
No, it's salt and pepper seasoning. The oil's to help it fry.
But I thought you can rub oil on meat, though, and leave it for a bit so it soaks in.
Yeah, that's
if it's already on the inside of us, pushing out towards the skin, sweating out olive oil. Yeah, they'd be like, "Oh, this is fucking lovely. This, chop that arm off him."
Yeah, that's it. Maybe that's part of it. They're filling us with oil, so we marinate from the inside out, and that's why we're encouraged to season all of our food all the time. So we're seasoning ourselves from the inside, and then essentially what we're becoming is like, a build's gonna love this because we're becoming microwavable packets of human flesh. So when we die, we can basically be, if we're not cremated, if we're buried, we can just be hoisted up and bunged in a massive alien mic, which I can imagine is pretty fucking powerful.
Yeah, they don't even have to prick holes in you for the
No,
steam to release on them
no.
on their microwaves.
And
They're
we
that
become
far
like
ahead of us.
a rustler's burger. Actually, no, I'd say we become more of like a microwavable sausage roll, because that'll be quite hot in the middle, wouldn't it? With like a pastry.
It would be.
I'd say we're about a
And
microwavable
that pastry would
sausage
go
roll.
a bit chewy as well,
Yeah, and that's what
which
our
I
skin would
imagine
do.
your skin would do. Yeah, if you stuck someone in a microwave.
Yeah, I think we've cracked something. Olive oil is an alien.
Well, do you not think it's
preservative.
suspicious that you can have so much olive oil and very obviously if there's loads of olive oil, you're not going to see olives that often. But even like when people do stuff with bud in it and they break it down to oil, you don't get like the same amount of oil out of what you would get of the original weight that went into that.
No.
So there's a lot of spare olive parts. That means dried out old olive parts. So what are they doing with them?
But
Are they what they really need and we're eating the byproduct?
you've raised another point. I don't think the olive oil that we consume comes from olives, because
No.
right. Well, hear us out. How much olive oil do you reckon there is in the world
Fucking
at any one time?
gallons, mate.
There's more than gallons. I'll tell you that. There's
Reckon?
seas worth of olive oil out there.
Seas worth.
And I put it to you that there aren't anywhere near enough olives grown in the world to sustain the current world's usage of olive oil. That
What if
olive
that's
oil.
why? What if that's why trends are changing, though, mate? And why you were starting to get coconut water and that. And obviously it's not for cooking, but and fucking all different types of oil like sunflower oil and that. What if all this olive oil, because oil will last for fucking years. What if some really rich guy who invaded a country or was part of that, like a governor for it, decided, right, there's fucking loads of these things here. We can turn this into olive oil. This will be the next big thing. And then their family's just been sitting on it for 200 years. Vats and vats and vats of olive oil.
That definitely does happen.
And then,
isn't even a conspiracy part of this show. There is definitely a point for people that have got people who invade places or become the leader of places to go, this is a massive market, let's fucking shot it out there. Whether that's the leader of places or the criminals in those places.
To sell it though, because they didn't have the plastic bottles and glass was too expensive to produce.
Think of if you were a leader of a country that grew avocados when vegans started becoming this massive force that they are now. Imagine the dollar signs that must have appeared in those people's faces, just like
They've
ching,
just
ching,
been able
ching,
to.
ching,
I don't know if you've ever
ching,
played
ching.
Tropico, but they've just been able to afford the first nuclear base.
I've not played it, but I've watched it being played. I know exactly what you mean.
It's a very good game.
Yeah. That's exactly what I think. Like they must have been sat the day that happened. They've gone, we're fucking sat in an absolute gold mine here, boys. Like, we don't have to even sell coke anymore. We don't have to even let the rebels like traffic children. This is fine. We can just we can live legally now. That's Jesus, a weight off my chest. I'm sick of fucking traffic and burns. Fucking hell. These avocados, you can fit more in a box as well. You can only fit 3 kids in this box. You can fit 40 avocados.
And that's top
That's
to
mad.
toe.
Don't even have to put air holes in this box. I think olive oil's an alien creation for sure. There's far too much of it than there are olives. Show me all these olive plantations, and I'll show you a cloak organisation for what is clearly alien tech. I made other points.
Well, I can tie it to aliens again.
Go on.
You're saying aliens there. I know I keep making you, but the
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's not unheard of that happen every week.
Yeah, innit? I can't help myself. This happens when I go to the corner shop. That's why they don't really like me when I go in there. They don't really talk to me.
Don't worry, he records it too, but he just sends it to your fucking therapist.
In it, and that's why I've not seen them for a while as well. That's what this has become. Right, but they fucking they can't. I've got a list of like things they invented in it. But a lot of it can come with aliens, like ideas from aliens are associated with it heavily anyway. So you got like cesarean sections, mate.
Yep.
The Romans invented the cesarean section and suddenly seemed to invent loads of precision surgical tools.
The Caesar
from
salad.
what I read, Caesar salad, yeah, like introducing chicken to leaves after
chicken
death.
to leaves and mayonnaise.
Yeah, well, mayonnaise might be an alien invention. I don't know if mayo's in it.
They
I
can
thought it
have
was
the
like a
cunt
weird
back.
oil.
They can have the cunt back. Tell you right now, If
I don't
aliens,
mind a bit of mayo. I've grown
if
into mayo.
aliens did deliver us mayonnaise, they can fuck it back off again. I'd rather have Godzilla. That shit. I never trust egg in jellified form. What the fuck's that about? That's weird.
Nah,
Right?
you can trust egg in
I can
jellified
mix.
form.
I can mix
Eggs
mayo.
comes up a lot in this show.
Yeah,
Don't know
well,
why.
I mean, we could go. Well, they came up before the chicken, so we've answered that question.
That could be next week's show, guys. Eggs.
Eggs.
What did he know?
Do we have to? What do they know? What are they hiding? Embryos. Actually, that's exactly what they're hiding. There's no secret there. YouTube web sleuth. This isn't one for you. We've cracked it.
There we go. And what's that? We've got like 15 minutes to spare, so
we've got more than 15
just bore
minutes.
you with barnyard animal noises.
There's no mate. As funny you should say that. That used to be my favourite thing to do at house parties when we were leaving house parties when I was at uni, and that
Told
was
me this before.
yeah, just putting
weird noise.
10-hour compilation. Just find the speakers, because there's always speakers going at a house party. Find the speakers, put 10 hours of farmyard animal noises on, and just leave. And then you just hear moo. And people are all off their nut that much. It takes about 5-10 minutes for people to realise, and they're like, "Yeah, who put this on?" And you're long gone. You're off into the night or the morning. What was I was going to say something. You'd said something, and then I was going to say something.
Cesarean sections, eggs, mayonnaise, jellified eggs,
mayonnaise,
eggs. What do they know?
Fuck jellified eggs. That's it. I don't trust them. They shouldn't. I can mix mayo down until it doesn't resemble anything like its original form, and then it's nice again. But
nice with a bit of sweet chili sauce, I find. Like a 1-to-1 ratio.
That's not bad.
Lovely.
Gochujang, mate. Put a bit of gochujang paste in
Don't
there.
know what that means.
It's Korean pepper paste, fermented pepper paste, sticky, smoky, not hot, but like fucking well nice. Mix that down. Lovely stuff. A little bit of pickle juice from a jar of pickles in. Oh my days.
Your face genuinely changes when you talk about food. You need to do something where people can watch your face when you discuss food.
It's because it's something I actually know about.
Yeah.
I mean,
you just seem a lot happier.
I was
getting with the cesarean sections. You were going on about mayo.
I was, yeah. Because we were talking about Caesar salad.
Yeah, from cesarean sections, and I was saying that they've got to be like an alien thing, because if they put in the artificially inseminated people with alien DNA like they did with Mary, the Virgin Mary, the virgin birth, that could be an alien insemination there. And then they've got to do a cesarean section because, like, the either like, I don't know, fucking the bits of the tentacles, the suction cups of the tentacles get stuck to the cervix, or the heads are the wrong shape. Go on.
I've got a theory. Here is out, and this might prove it all. Consider this. In the film Alien, where does the alien come out from when it exits the woman? Where does the cesarean section happen?
Belly. Ooh.
I'll put it to you.
But though, what makes that weird is, you know what the alien... Oh, go on.
I'll put it to you that the film Alien is the nativity.
Nah. Well, he's not come out and said that. In like the past 5 years or 6 years or so, he came out and said that what it really was is a representation of the Vietnamese War. I think he said it was. Like
it's
the war
the nativity.
In Vietnam.
My idea, my hypothesis is far better than the bloke who claims to have created this film.
Claims to have. We don't know that he created it. Guys. It could have been made by aliens.
He was from round here, and part of Alien 2 was filmed on Seaham Beach, a place called The Blast, because it looks like it's a really, really dark, apocalyptic looking beach area with like huge rock surfaces that are like, it's fucking class. It's a lovely place, but yeah, part of it was filmed on the beaches up here because he wanted to use some of the local area, and that place was perfect for the shot. But yeah, it's the nativity, so they're trying to tell us the birth of the baby Jesus was actually the birth of an alien.
The 3 wise men.
The Predator was the 3 wise men.
Yeah, that's where AVP comes from then. Because Predator came into the Alien franchise a bit later on, and the wise men arrived late. They weren't there spot on. The shepherd was there, but the wise men.
Predator was its own franchise.
Yeah,
it wasn't part of the Alien. They became together. They then fused.
And there was in the second Predator film though. You do see Alien's head.
Yeah, that's true.
Spaceship, so there was a nod there. There's a connection,
Yeah, that's true. But like, That I mean, yeah. Or Predator could be the Romans,
Maybe. Yeah.
and that's the sort of telling is like the alien was born of immaculate conception. It was eaten by. Well, it was birthed out of via cesarean section from fucking Mary, who I can never remember the woman's name who actually played the lass in Alien. I always
Sigourney
think,
Weaver.
yeah, I always think Sarah Connor, but that's not the name of the fucking character. It's the other one. That's the she's other destruction woman who has to save the planet.
What, the name of the character? One
Yes.
is Bishop.
That
Is it Bishop?
yes, I believe you're right. I believe you're correct. But yeah, it's the story of the nativity. Predator's the Romans. Predator armored, right?
Yeah.
Think armored, advanced weaponry.
Which they did. They did advanced weaponry, siege tactics. They supposedly brought siege tactics forwards by 200 years or so out of nowhere by making something like an onager, which was like a fucking an advanced form of the large crossbow that they'd use.
Yep.
They found a way again. They found a way to make that cheaper and faster and stronger. A lot like with your surveying equipment.
They didn't have a navy at all, but they obviously wanted to have a navy. So while their boats were being built, and they stole their ideas from the Carthaginians as well, I believe. That's where they basically stole the ideas for their navy from. They learnt to row en masse on land, like on the beaches. Like they did training all on land to learn to row before they even had the boats.
So
they
could Cool Runnings be a weird telling of Roman history? A weird allegory.
And that sort of links it back to eggs again, doesn't it?
Eggs, where's the eggs?
Do you want to kiss my lucky egg? You want to kiss my lucky egg? Sanka, are you dead? Caesar, are you dead? Yeah, man. Yeah, that links it back. This is a very eggy episode. Where was I going with this? Bring me back.
They rode on land. They learned how to.
So they also had. They also invented this platform that they could put on the front of boats, so they could extend or withdraw whenever they wanted, and shunt it into enemy boats. So it created a landing platform, so they could attack.
Yeah.
They could attack on sea via land. So like basically form a bridge, so they could board other people's boats and shit.
Rather than adapting to naval warfare, just bring land warfare to the sea.
What I can tell you is that the Romans may have had great army, may have had fantastic numbers. The numbers that they used as well, which is another interesting thing with Romans, like the way they formed their centurions and their garrisons, and like there was a strict number in each unit and all that, and it broke down, and like they followed such a regimented pattern with their army.
Didn't know this.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, man, it's something like.
If it's 33, that's fucking weird.
No, not that. No. How many Roman legion? Size. It was like 4,200 or 4,800 per legion. And then 80 groups of 80 men were called centuries or centurion. And then there was a man in charge of the century called a centurion, which is weird that it was 80 and not 100, but fuck off. 4,200 per legion.
But they could have been using magical numbers, mate.
Well, this is it.
And then they translated it to Roman numerals later on in the Roman times.
This is it.
You know, like,
but
we'll
one
get rid
thing I
of that
can tell you
now.
is if you ever played Roman Empire, Age of Empires with the cheats on, the one thing the Roman army can't beat are a load of Knight Riders and kit cars from Knight Rider and people with rocket launchers and machine guns. Because as anyone who ever played Age of Empires knows best, the best thing about playing Age of Empires was playing with the cheats on and having building a massive army to oppose you, huge army of elite fighters, and then you just having 5 kit cars from Knight Rider and then obliterating the entire Roman army. It's fantastic, absolutely great. Maybe a few elephant units.
Yeah, I remember the Persian elephants. I do. I remember them.
Well,
Persians were the best for the elephants.
Yeah, all the
Rome Total War, mate. Have you ever played that?
Nah.
Oh, that's a fucking game and a half, mate. That. Like, I can sit in front of that for like 2 days and then be like, "Fuck, I should sleep."
That was why I had to delete Age of Empires.
Well, mate, it's the Age of Empires on steroids, man. You got to think of everything. Oh,
Jesus. Oh, jeez. I'm like that with Football Manager, though.
Oh, see, I can't stand football, mate.
Yeah, but you don't like football. This is the thing, like, Football Manager's not like football, though. Like, it's not like FIFA. The actual playing of the football game is the smallest. It's the tiniest aspect of the game. It's managing a football club, i.e., controlling finances, doing scouting, It's literally being a manager, which is so. It fits my autism level very well. Like, you can control anything or nothing, which means I can control everything because I'm a sociopath. And you can just micromanage down to the nth degree and essentially spend 4 hours doing nothing. And that's ideal for me. That's ideal for me 100%. What other points I got about Romans? Romans, purple, colour purple. Relate this to aliens then, if you will. Romans, the colour purple was considered a status symbol, and it was only like certain heads of, I believe, religion who were allowed to wear all purple. If you wore all purple and you weren't that sort of status, you could be punishable by death.
Oh shit! No, I didn't know that. I was going to relate to aliens by linking it to religion because I think it's Lent or Advent. Purple's the colour of Lent or the colour of Advent, one or the other.
Right.
One of them's forgiveness, supposedly. So you're told. So that was like it's like a powerful thing. Around that time.
So we've got Romans trying to install a Jesus figure. So everyone's more considerate about Romans, right? Forgiveness in Advent is marked by the colour purple. Purple seen as a status. This all ties to the Romans inventing Jesus, mate, and Jesus being a fucking alien. So much so that after this, I believe that we should probably basically create a YouTube documentary and rake in thousands and thousands of views from an audience that's willing to believe the tripe that we spout. And I believe that we could probably we could get a book out of it. If not,
do you reckon?
We could
get a book out of anything, me.
Yeah, man, we could support Ike on a tour. He's always looking for a supporting act, mate. I would love.
Nah, he's got his son.
I'd love to open for Ike.
His son supports him.
I'd love to open for Ike. Me, Ike, Corbyn's brother. Oh, what a lineup! What a fucking banging line. Them two there for trying to give really serious talk, and I'm just there like basically spouting this. We can just go on and spout this shit, but sound like we're being genuine and authentic, when really we'll walk away from it not remembering a fucking thing we said.
Well, that's how you feel, though, when you do watch them documentaries. Well, talks. There's so much that's said in there, and you're like, I don't know. I don't have a clue what's just been said, but I've remembered the important parts. There is a ghost of a lizard grabbing onto the bottom part of my spine.
So I've got a point, another point for us to sort of, we could draw to a close on, or we could sort of edge towards it. Chod's not on next, I don't think, so we've got time, mate. We've got time.
Well, if that's the case, one sec, then I'm going to go and turn the charger on the computer. You had a little bit of time, because I was thinking to myself, this is going to go well. There's about 2-3 minutes left of battery here. Give me just fucking pad. It was fully charged. Not the most professional of things, but
Jesus Christ. So, for those who've listened so far, I applaud you for doing so.
Really?
Don't imagine to be here.
Done that, no one would have known. No one would have even known.
No, I mean,
I've gone and done that.
I just prepped. I was just about to go into some sort of monologue of life.
Do it. You can still do it.
Nah, I'm going to save it for a better time. I'll save it for a better time.
When I'm back out of the room again.
When I've managed to put more... I can't work out whether that's a hoodie or a fucking... some sort of tribal wear you've got on. It's an all-consuming blanket hoodie with a joey
that's basically
pouch.
what it is. With a pocket, right? And this pocket is shite. Because it's just basically imagine if you was to get a Pringles tube and flatten it. So there's nothing at the sides to hold anything in there that you put it in there. So as soon as you go for a piss, and I'm not proud. I have to obviously lift the bottom of my jumper to have a piss. My fucking phone falls out. Anything that's in that pocket falls out, bounces off the toilet or off the tiles.
Good
it's
poster
warm,
holder.
Don't get me wrong.
Good poster holder or a nice tube or something.
Yeah, if it's something lengthy, something you could put that in there. Baguettes.
Yeah,
would be a good thing to
class bread carrier.
Roman spears, perhaps.
Yeah, you could catch it. You could several spears. You know what you could do in there? A goma. A groma. That's what they're fucking called. You could keep one of them in there, possibly. Probably not, actually. They're quite large from the diagrams I was looking at earlier. But, right, There's a lot of science in Rome. We've established that. A lot of science. Also, birth of a lot of philosophy, right? Now, philosophy, for the most part, be considered a positive thing, considered a beneficial thing. But there was I'm fucking starving me. I'm doing like an intermittent fast to try and kickstart some health. So today this bee's knees is the first thing besides water I've had all day. And that's got fucking 3 shots of gin in it, so like I'm already tipsy. But I'm fucking hungry now, mate. It just saps your imagination. Now let's get back into imagining. So, lots of philosophy, philosophers philosophising about things, doing philosophical shit. Probably thinking of shit while they're having a shit and philosophising over it. Now, this divided the Roman population because it caused people to think about the self rather than the unit. Now, one of the reasons that Rome was so fucking brilliant at conquering shit and being successful in its battles with its armies was they promoted the idea of Rome as a whole, and that your life was being given for the greater good of the empire. And philosophy was sort of at odds with this. Now, if we've already clarified earlier that Rome was conquering lands on behalf of not just themselves, but aliens, clearly, to try and siphon goods, end magic, because aliens hate magic. So they were doing all, clearly, aliens and magic.
Well, you never see it in the same film together, do you? Apart from, like, what, Marvel? Fucking, you never see, like, there's no aliens in Lord of the Rings or in Prestige. You're not got, like, fucking Christian Bale and a fucking Grey.
Christian Bale and Dumbledore just sat in the crowd, judging. But yeah, so we've established that they were expanding their lands and taking over countries and etc. for the betterment of themselves, but also of aliens. Now, are we then led to believe that philosophy is a direct enemy of the aliens? But is it a case of they would be against it merely because it promotes the belief of the self, and that could beat the aliens, or that they believe that philosophy is something more and a direct sort of weapon against them?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Jimmy. Now, if you do believe in the Galactic Federation, then you know that there's going to be the reptilians, and you know that there's like the tall whites or the Nordics. Now, I would say that if you are including aliens within it, that the philosophers would be maybe led by the Nordics, whereas the Romans would be very much led by the Dracos or the reptilians, because they're more of like a warring race.
You reckon Nordics would be with the philosophizers? Because, I mean, Nords, for the most part, considered quite a warrior faith themselves, quite a warrior race themselves.
Not as the aliens though, as like Vikings and that. Yeah, but is that just a way to make us think that the Nordic aliens are bad, like a little psyop kind of thing?
That's a possibility. I don't know if I think that. What if, much like the scientific developments were injected, given to the Romans by the aliens, what if philosophy was given to these groups of people, by a war, and like not aliens but another type of thing that's trying to battle and gain control?
Oh, so it's like more of an insidious kind of thing.
A little bit more like It's basically. Where there's a contract out on Earth, right? People have bidded on Earth, unbeknownst to us, because we're on Earth, but outside in the intergalactic fucking
kind of like a third world country in like the early 1900s.
Yeah. So imagine we're Congo, and then you've got like the Dutch, the Belgians, the English, the French, all bidding on us and going like, we want that. That's got gold. That's got prawns. That's got snowdrops, little snowdrop plants. I really love those flowers. Lovely little flowers. Bulbs. They look great on the mantelpiece. they've got
And the
all
other one had
those.
mantelpieces.
Yeah, I mean, did we have
Before.
mantelpieces then? I'm not sure we'd have had
No,
mantelpieces
not
back
before
then.
not before we took the Congo.
No, no, definitely not. I mean, the Congo is the natural source of mantelpieces. I don't know if it's a little
Where they
known
grow,
fact.
they've grown there for years.
Yeah, mantelpiece trees. I mean, if you've ever gone, you've got to really watch yourself when you're going through the Congolese forests because a mantelpiece can, if you're the wrong time of season, mantelpiece can just fall on your head from fucking any
Worse than a
direction.
coconut, mate. Worse than a coconut.
Yeah, but the good
More
thing
people
is,
are killed by mantelpieces than sharks every year.
yeah, sharks and hippos combined. I think the last the last stat was. But on the plus side, if you actually manage to crack a fallen mantelpiece over at the end of the season, juicy fruit inside, some of the most delectable fruit you'll ever try.
The heath, as I remember they used to call it.
Yeah, I mean, where I was from, they called it the pulp, but I mean, it's probably the same thing, just lost in translation. But yeah, but before we got to anywhere near all of that, there's all these alien civilizations bidding on Earth, and the aliens won the contract. And they've got their in through the Romans, and they were like, we need people on the inside to help us get in. Much like with anything else, if you're going to go and seize a country, you've got to make friends with that country first. You've got to get some ties, maybe speak the language, maybe give them some blankets that are infected with this disease that can spread among them and kill them off. Not that anyone ever did that like us.
Was philosophy the SARS-covered blankets? Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm suggesting, I was just making a reference to what we did to America.
Oh, I know, and that's what I was thinking.
But well, they could be. Philosophy could be that. I'm going a little bit further. So you've got the aliens have won it, and while they're doing that, you've got, let's say it is the tall whites who lost out on the deal. Maybe they got in late. Maybe they weren't willing to offer as much, but they're sat there going, I really want those fucking mantelpieces. I mean, there's one thing that's missing from our huge hall of
these fireplaces are so fucking dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, we've lost 6 members this week just because there's nothing around that fire. No, we're not going to put the fire out. It's cold in here. We need something to put around the fire so we stop losing fucking cousins. Because I'm sick. Like, I've had to go to too many funerals this week, and I've only got one suit. I'm starting to look, people are starting to notice, and it's not going to serve as well if everyone in the community starts talking about me only having one suit. I'll become one suit Larry before the fucking week's out. And no, I don't want that nickname, right? I want to be the cool one. I want to be Warrior Lawrence, right? I don't want to be one suit Larry. So, Larry and his tall white crew have decided we're going to nick this business deal. We're going to scupper it. But in order to scupper it, we need to win help from the inside, much like people look to Jesus. So they thought we need to deliver something to them that can battle what the aliens are doing down there, which is installing power to the Romans and also faith through Jesus. So they delivered philosophy. And now I've just drawn a blank from your face. I can see that.
Because I just fucking... No. Because something just twigged in my head, mate.
Jesus, it's the first time in 20 shows.
Weren't the Vikings after the Romans?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah. Yeah.
And the Vikings became like the dominant force throughout Europe after the Romans.
Yeah.
Which would tie in with the tall whites being like...
Philosophy conquering the Romans.
Yeah, they could have come and introduced that and then gone, right, now we need a warrior, people. These hairy bastards here are fucking mental.
These are absolutely
Introduce them
nuts.
to them shrooms there, give them a handful of them mushrooms there.
Strap in the front of boats.
Yeah.
Watch, these cunts have literally invented the word berserker for these people. They are absolutely off their lids. They will be taken over. Yeah, it's a possibility. Now, to bring things down to a serious note, which I saw through everything I watched, right, to do with the Romans, this became more and more apparent that, like, the end of the Roman Empire is very similar to what we're sort of going through now. The richest people in the Roman Empire were starting to become more rich than the government, and therefore the government didn't really have any fucking say or power. We were controlled by the aristocrats and the people who got a lot of money through not paying any tax, which I don't know if that rings a bell, but that's pretty comparison to what's happening now. And I also think that, like, philosophy may or may not have had something to do with this, but I genuinely believe that the movement towards individualization or individualism, and the belief of the self over the group, and what you want as a person, and how to become the best that you can be as a person for yourself rather than from an empire, helped cause the fall of that empire, because people didn't no longer thought of it as themselves, as a part of one big thing. They thought of themselves as themselves, and then that allowed leaks to spring. Now, think about countries now that have ruled empires for years, like us, the British have. Think about, I mean, Americans are doing the sort of same. These countries that have had these massive empires that have promoted, to a degree, individualism and the belief in yourself over other things, and the want to create the better you instead of looking at the bigger picture and the better country. Now, I'm not saying that that's the wrong thing. It's not. I think it's right to look out for yourself, but it's got its repercussions, and I genuinely think what that had an influence in what happened to Rome, and I think that it's just repeating itself now.
But what if it isn't repeating itself? What if it never happened? What if these rich people have been this rich for a couple hundred years, and they've been controlling the educational system to make people believe that there was these Romans and that? Because rich people seem to have a hand in academia, don't they? So
Not seem to. They fucking rule
they,
academia.
well, that's what academia is, though, I guess.
That's
So,
what I
innit?
mean,
Maybe
yeah.
like support, yeah, yeah, and maybe that's why it's got ties to the Romans, because if we tie it into the Romans, they believe in the Romans, so they'll believe in academia. But they made all of this seem like, oh, this was the downfall of Rome. This is how it fell down. This is how it failed, so that they could do it now, so that we're all primed for it.
Yeah, that's. I mean that's not impossible. We like you say, it's usually the people in power, or the people with money and the people with influence, who write history. It's the winners who write history, and the ones in charge. So it wouldn't be out of the ordinary for us to be acting on the words of people rather than the facts. Do you know what I mean? Which is
Yeah, yeah.
possibly, this could relate all the way to the start and the Bible, because there's a very high chance that, I mean, it's most probably likely that you're relying on the words, and people have based entire civilizations on the words of influential people rather than the fact.
Yeah,
Is that because that's exactly what the Bible is, isn't it? And any other
kind of.
religious text to that matter.
Yeah, it's like a massive allegory, and it's the whole thing's supposed to be like a huge metaphor, but they
Yeah, but
also use it as serious.
well,
Like,
what
this
I
is
mean,
definitely how it should be.
yeah, but what that's sort of what I mean. But what I mean is, that was, if that book was written by just fucking anyone on the street,
Well,
would
yeah,
never be
you'd
given
just
any
be one of
sort of
them
credit.
nutters.
It's the fact
No,
that
no.
it's written by people of influence and was then passed down, and then and that influence was maintained, and if not, it was increased.
Mm.
And that perception of these people became greater and greater, and because of that, like, you treat the words of these people as fact rather than actual facts.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that could be right for academia now. In some aspects, history is one you can play with, because we can't go back.
Yeah, no one can
Unless,
prove you wrong as long as you don't go too mental with
well,
it.
that's it. Unless you're doing something, or you're in a field of study where you actually have technology where you can go out in the field and prove things, whether it's through archaeology, whether it's through carbon dating, whatever. But like, unless you're in that sort of industry, you can essentially sell people whatever they want.
Well, what if you is to just make up something that's so mental and big, and it's all a lie? And this ties into what I think about science. So if it's all a lie and none of it's really true, and it's just a way of clouding our perception of whatever it is they're trying to hide away, then that would work. You could then just make up whatever you wanted, literally anything, because it would fit in with it. Because it's not as mental as people realizing all of this is wrong.
The
None of this is
difference
true.
being, with your sort of fucking war against science, there are
War and science.
there are
It's the
yeah.
next one to come after obesity.
And drugs,
Yeah.
drugs, obesity,
Have
science.
the
The
drugs.
trilogy.
Imagine that. The war on drugs, guys, is over. Now it's the war on facts. The
Yeah,
war on facts and science. The drugs have
mate,
won.
we're already in the war on facts and science. I don't know if you paid any attention to the media and anything else over the last 4 years, but we have totally entered the war on facts and science. But the thing with science is a lot of it is provable. Like there are
But only
something.
provable through science.
Well,
Like a religion. Oh,
but it wouldn't be.
why is
Nah,
that possible? Or because God said it was possible. Why is that
that's a
possible? Because
difference.
Einstein said it was possible. Do you
There's
know?
a difference
Go
because
on.
that they're measurable. Yes, you
Through
say,
science.
but those wouldn't work together in the real world if they weren't real. There's a difference between science and religion in that aspect, because what you're saying in that is because this was done by God, this was done by God, this was done by God, but you can never see God, and you can never
No.
see that in action. You say this was done by science, this was done by science, this was done by science. What you can say is right, if science didn't exist, this would happen, and then you could test that it won't happen, which then proves the science to be true. Now, yeah, that is based on other science, but that doesn't excuse the experiment that you're doing to be correct and therefore prove that particular science true. You can't do that with religion.
I do understand, but what if religion and science are like flavors of perception? So if everybody believes in science all around the world, then everyone's brains, because like going from like an alternative history point of view and the conspiratorial side of it all, when you buy into all that, a lot of them believe in like the collective consciousness. So then if the more people, say the higher percentage of the collective consciousness believe in religion and God, then that would make more religious, what we would consider miracles and things possible, and it would be considered, oh, it's a miracle, it's this, it's that, it's that. Whereas now we believe in science, and we're like, oh no, it's scientifically possible because of science, because more people are
I
thinking that,
don't.
which means like the idea, taken very, very loosely, because I don't understand science, which is probably why I'm so against it. But the idea that like the electron there's only supposed to be, some people believe, one electron in existence that moves continuously. It's everywhere all at once, but only while you're looking at it. So what if that's literally, if you take that down to like a fucking hand, like palm-sized idea, that electron could represent perception itself, the whole world around us only exists because we're looking at it. And the only reason we're seeing what we're looking at is because we've been told that's like that because of science.
If that was I don't believe in group consciousness though, because
What other people do, and if that was enough to make that happen, then that could still happen.
but there's enough people who are split on every other aspect of life but agree on certain things for that to be disproven. So so I would argue that let's see how many people believe and don't believe in vaccinations, or believe and don't believe in 5G, on the dangers of 5G technology. Now, those people are separated, are divided on certain scientific things, but there'll be patches where those people are unified. That argues against a group consciousness, because otherwise you're saying that along the line with science, people would have the same ideas on everything scientific because it's a group consciousness and that's the way you're supposed to be thought. In which case, there'd be no such thing as conspiracy, because no one would have the capacity to believe otherwise. If you were subjected to it, you'd become a part of it. The only way to not become a part of it is to not be subjected to it. If you're not subjected to it, you have no idea about it and you can't oppose it.
But what if being subjected to it is enough if you've had it instilled into you all your life? So if you was to get a kid and tell that kid nothing about science, but instead explain everything away with fucking nonsense to that kid, or to a whole school of kids, would you then be able to make these kids be able to achieve things that scientists can't? Because of the way they're seeing the world would be completely fucking different.
We'll see what happens in a few years' time, because, I mean, we've just had a year full of children that have not gone to school.
Yeah,
and that's genuinely
of idiots like us.
They've learned off parents, which is even worse, because we went to school with a lot of those parents and they never listened. The kids that have missed this last year are gonna be shining examples of that, and I bet there are so many studies done on them. I bet there are so many studies done on the development of children of various ages that have suffered for a year without education over the last year. But yeah, I still believe that although I agree with you that science can be treated as a religion by some in the way that they won't question anything. However, I believe that those who treat science as a religion aren't they're not paying science the respect it deserves. You should try and challenge it, because theoretically, if you challenge it, you should either not be able to beat it, in which case that proves it to be correct, or if you do find something else, either the science has changed or something's changed to cause that difference, or whatever it was based upon initially was incorrect and you found the correct way of doing something. I think that people that buy into science and the current answers being all the answers we've got, that can be classed as, in a way, religious and cult-like. But the difference between science and religion is you can challenge it, and if the science is correct, it'll still stand up when you challenge it. With religion, it won't. Do you know what I mean?
Good point. Yeah.
The ones who follow it blindly aren't being scientific. You should actively be trying to break and prove otherwise, because you'll find some shit out along the way, and what you'll do then is add to findings rather than just blindly go along, because things have changed. We found out that it's one of the things that they talk about on QI when I used to watch QI, is that I think it's an average of they did shows every so often on answers that are no longer correct.
Yeah.
And it was exactly that. It was like, look, this was factually and scientifically right at the time, but everything's changed, and all the factors that make up this scientific equation have changed, so it can't possibly be the same now. And I think that's happened with a lot of things over the years, and I think that we've just not revisited them to see what the updated version would be.
I get what you're saying, I do, but it's made me think of something else now.
Go on.
But I'm fully with you. But, right, you know how the only real thing that links all of the weird historical points throughout time is conspiracy theory, innit? Where you can be like, oh, we can link JFK to Roswell. We can link Roswell to ancient Mesopotamia, Sumeria, because it's aliens. You can link anything to anything through conspiracy. What if the real conspiracy then is that all of these things are connected because it's a group's or a species way of testing religion in the exact way that you've just described? So through things like, what we deem as MK Ultra, the CIA, producing serial killers, for example, in order to see, right, can we test if hell is real? So if we make someone who's fucking demented, but they don't know that they're demented, do they go to heaven? Do they go to hell? And they've got a way to test that, because that's what they've been really focusing on, but they've been hiding it all to us by going, well, we can show them a lot of it, but we'll just science so that they never find that avenue there. So we'll just close off that avenue.
A little bit like a modern day Book of Job, but not as sick.
I don't know what that is.
The Book of Job was a bet between the devil and God, where the devil was like, God was like, you can test the faith of my followers, and they're unbreakable. In fact, I'm willing to put my strongest believer, his entire life on it, and he basically broke Job, killed his family, fucking his flock, ruined his life to test his faith, and Job still believed, which is one of the sickest parts of the Bible. And when I did philosophy at A-level, was one of the points that I brought up to be like, this argues against the existence of God. That book alone argues against the existence of a benevolent and a God as you should see a God, which is all loving and put man there in his own image and all of this, when he's willing to take everything away from that just to win a bet against the devil.
Yeah, but some people can't help the gambling habits, can they?
Honestly,
and that might be his vice.
He's got I've heard he's maxed out his Paddy Power account.
That's what them baskets are for at church that they pass around.
Is it?
It's so he can go on the slot machines.
It's to put them all in the little penny bastards. Little fucking
Yeah,
snidey
that's what
little
he's
cunt.
doing.
I've never trusted him. Honestly, never trusted him. Right? Take back what I said about Muhammad. God's the hideous one.
Ooh.
Right? Yahweh, whatever you want to fucking call him. I'm still not drawing Muhammad because I can't do him the justice I wish to. But, yeah, that's a possibility. But that's what I mean. Like, what you're suggesting is conspiracy is a less evil Book of Job test.
I think
Like,
so.
putting
At
people's
least I think that now.
yeah,
from what you've been
I
saying.
get that. It's like putting people's faith to the test via all these theories. So, but I think that if God, if there's such a thing, was to do that, he'd put across much better ones than chemtrails and 5G.
Don't know though. Nah.
No,
Why? They're pretty good,
they're really bad.
but they're predominantly based in faith, negative faith. Not as in you've not got the faith, but a faith in something negative.
Yeah,
It's very similar.
but yeah, there's a possibility, and conspiracy is the one that it would be a good test. But look at the people that believe in it; they tend to be the more religious ones. The people who tend to believe in conspiracy, for the most part, are the ones who consider themselves to be religious, because a lot of conspiracies tie to being in some way against God, or in some way backing a regime that's against Christian regime or against white people. Like, the people who follow conspiracies a lot of the time are religious, which maybe speaks for itself, in that people that are susceptible to conspiracy are susceptible to religion. Perhaps there's a connection there. We'll never fucking know. Maybe those people are just malleable as fuck, and you could fucking absolutely warp their minds with your hands if you just stuck them in their ears, and just manipulate them in that way and just mould them into what I want them to be. But yeah, that's just them being dickheads. I think that God doesn't have to put tests out for those people. Those people are already willing to walk off the edge of a cliff for him anyway, because they're fucking muppets. We've done nearly an hour and a half.
Fucking hell.
I
Well,
know.
I've got one last thing that I thought was pretty cool about the
Go on,
Romans.
then.
And did you know that they basically invented nanotechnology?
Go on then.
There's this goblet that's in the British Museum where it looks green. It's called the Jade Goblet. I think it's called the Jade Goblet. Or it's described as a
I've
Jade
loosely
Goblet.
heard of this.
And when light shines through it, it shines red rather than green.
Aye.
And it's because they'd ground down gold and silver to 1,000th of the size of a grain of salt and spread it throughout the whole mixture. And now that same thing can be used to test liquids. So there's some people now that believe this thing was made to test for certain liquids that were being put within it to see how it would go. Yeah, well, maybe aliens
They
introduced them
wanted
to it.
jade, they wanted gold, they wanted silver. They were like, we'll show you what this does.
Yeah, jade's
We'll
supposed
show
to
you
have
what this
fucking mad
does.
powers, mate.
Yeah,
Something
man.
to do with capturing a soul or something. I
Yep.
think it was, I'm just going to say ancient Asia, Eastern Asia, somewhere
Mate,
over there.
The Chinese
They
and a lot of
believed
Asian.
that you could capture a soul in jade.
Yeah, like jade is jade's an extremely powerful substance in like Eastern mythology and shit like that.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense, and it makes a lot of sense for those three materials to be used together. Like that's a very, very powerful fucking thing. That's alien tech right there.
What if that there is where the Holy Trinity comes from?
What, gold, silver, and jade?
Yeah.
Goody. God
Jade
rest her
goody.
soul.
Jade, goody, gold, and silver, just like knock off silver, and her ears have gone green behind the gold fake earrings.
From Elizabeth Duke earrings.
Yeah.
One last thing I'm going to end on. One very quick point of topic. One thing that I can give the Romans credit for, and sort of suggest that not only, right, yes, they may have been fucking slaves to aliens, right? They may have had a lot of slaves themselves. They may have enslaved many countries, and their entire economy was based on raiding countries and ransacking the places for slaves to then feed the building of the civilization and empire. But one thing above all, be it warriors, be it horrible people, be it beautiful minds, be it slaves, they were lads among all, because they invented the tactical whitey.
Do you reckon? Why?
Not
In
I
what way?
reckon. They used to have such large gatherings and like meals, like buffets, banquets, that they invented the tactical whitey to have in between courses so they could carry on eating. And they had people that would go around and collect, literally, so they could whitey into it at their massive banquet table, so they could then carry on gorging on food, which is, I mean, it's a sort of thing that I've dreamed of. I've dreamed of for a long time. Other people who are listening may have experienced this, but if you're on certain substances or if you've had a drink, you tend to piss a lot. You tend to piss quite a bit. And when you're on those certain substances or you've had a drink, you tend to be rather comfortable and not want to go for a piss. So what I've wanted for lots of time, or for it to be socially acceptable again, is a piss bucket. Just to have one in like a front room. Maybe you're chilling with your lass. Maybe you're just both there, had a nice evening, can't be asked to go to the toilet, just have a piss bucket. Now, I've long thought while I've had this idea that I'm sick. This is not right. This is very dirty. And I'm a clean person, mate. Like, I'm a very meticulously clean person. So I've thought it was out of character for me. And now, since realising that, like, one of the greatest empires of all time, their very highest orders, their top rung people, were whiteying in public in front of people just so they could keep scranning. My piss pot doesn't seem that bad of an idea.
Doesn't. We did have them buckets and that in the medieval ages in England. Used to be people's jobs to sit underneath the banquet tables and catch the shit and piss of the people eating.
Yeah, that's.
And I was thinking with you saying that as well, to another going off away, but still. What if the reason why, like, evolutionarily speaking, we've evolved to walk slowly when we're drunk is because we used to have piss buckets and we used to have to take it carefully as we were walking with it, because later in the night when we're more pissed, we've pissed more into the bucket. Maybe there was some weird punishment for spilling it, or a societal drawback from spilling piss everywhere. And that's why we walk slowly and sort of stumble, because we used to be sort of carrying these buckets full of piss, which as we're walking, you know, and you'd probably drink more when it's more cold, I would have thought, to keep warm back in the day before the invention of, you know, like the fucking waistcoat or coat, you know.
Where
when
are
they were
you
just
carrying
in
it
capes.
to?
Just about.
So were you not allowed to empty your piss buckets in ancient Rome?
No, you had to go to the apartments, which, as I said before, were called islands, and then pour them out the window of the top floor onto the street below. That was the rule. And that's where we got it from. We were like, the Romans used to do this, so we'll do it. It was a sign of class to be able to piss in a bucket and pour it out of an upstairs bedroom. It was a sign of class. So we'll assign that to our working classes in, like, inner city London and stuff, and Manchester, like the cotton mills and stuff. We'll be like, right, you can't have indoor toilets, but we'll make you feel posh.
You can do what the Romans did. You can chuck your piss out the top and on the other peasants on the street. Go on, lads. Yeah. Go on. We haven't even invented umbrellas yet, so everyone's bound to get soaking. It's absolutely. That's why blokes used to walk on the outside. On paths.
The road where the cars are coming from.
When you walk closest to gentlemen are meant to walk closest to the road, so you could get pissed on, like when buckets are thrown out the window. It was to protect the lady. To make sure the lady wasn't urine saturated, which doesn't take into account the lasses who are into water sports, which I find, I mean, those ages just weren't that accepting of kinks. They weren't accepting that some lasses like a bit of wee. Some of them love a golden shower, but no, they kept that from them and made blokes walk on the outside, and that is where we're going to end this show. What we're going to do next week, I don't want to do it. I'm going to pick for next week. I don't want to do eggs.
Yeah, you can.
I'm going to pick for next week. We're going to have to do, I don't know, I think it's something crime based.
Oh, okay.
I think we could do crime. Have we done murders yet? Have we done murderers?
Nah, we haven't. We could touch on murderers.
I'd rather not touch any murderers, to be honest. Don't know where they've been. In fact, I do know where many of them have been. That's why I don't want to touch them. We'll do murderers, but challenge being, we can include the big ones, but let's see if we can fucking find theories about the weirder, lesser known ones.
Well, there's a weird, lesser known fact about murderers. I used to have a weather loach called Peter Sutcliffe.
Fantastic.
I didn't name him, but I let one of my mates name him at college. I was like, what do you want to call him? He was like, Peter Sutcliffe. I was like, why? Like, because it kind of looks like half a pair of tights. I was like, do you need a sock?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I was like, okay. Sound, yeah, that's his name, mate. That's great.
That's
Great
him
reasoning.
now. You're right,
Yeah.
Peter. Did he have another one that pretended to be him called Wearside Jack?
No, I had another two fish in there. That one was called Dingo, one was called the Dentist.
Explain the dentist before we go. We can't leave on not knowing what the dentist was called. Why he was called the dentist, sorry.
I just thought it seemed like a cool name for a fish.
Fantastic. That's exactly what we're going to end it on.